In keeping with our theme of stories that connect us, I wanted to share a brief story myself. So my father was in the U.S. Navy for about 26 years. And so when I was growing up, we always lived in Navy housing, which is exactly as it sounds. It's housing of everyone in the naval community. And so I interacted with children growing up who were from all over the world and all over the country. And so for me, it was natural that I would see my colleagues, the schools that I went to, everyone connected to the Navy. My best friend's mom was from the Philippines, and we enjoyed banana lumpia. I didn't know the name of it at the time, but we ate tons of that growing up. And so right out of high school, I joined the Navy myself. I went to boot camp. There were 80 of us from around the country and the world as well. And I remember how the 80 of us, strangers at the time, were from very diverse experiences, backgrounds, and beliefs, but we learned to work together. For some, boot camp was the first time they had a chance to really interact with someone from a different culture, different background, national origin, religious preference, etc. Many liked our students here at the university. Sometimes my fellow recruits did not get along well with each other, but as time passed, stories were shared and a community was formed. Eventually, those 80 sailors looked beyond their differences, looked to understand and appreciate one another, and found all of our similarities. At the end of the 2 months of training, those 80 men were a strong team that learned to work together with our collective diversity. Our diversity of experiences, our diversity of thought, our diversity of stories, collectively made us one united community and forged friendships that would last a lifetime. We have the same opportunity here at this university. Our rich, diverse learning and lurking environment is an enormous gift. It provides us the opportunity to learn about other cultures, other beliefs, and other practices. It's through sharing our stories that we gain a better understanding of our colleagues and ourselves. At the conclusion of the convocation today, I encourage everyone to share a story with someone you know and someone you don't. You'll be amazed at just how meaningful this experience can be. With that, it is now my pleasure to welcome Tim Slotto, the university's Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer.
Okay, let's try this again. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Yes, that was wonderful. I am really pleased that you all chose to come inside on this balmy January day instead of sunbathing in the warmth on your long Monday lunch break. I'm excited that we're all here together to celebrate the annual Business and Finance Dr. Martin Luther King Day Convocation. You may not know that this is the 21st year of our doing this. This is one of the largest campus events to celebrate this holiday in the country. I also want to welcome BNF staff members. Thank you for raising your hand. Family members, many community members I see out there, university executive officers and leaders who chose to come today. I'd also like to thank the folks of my senior team and the BNF diversity team who worked tirelessly to put this together, as well as many other events. And most importantly, I want to thank our partner organizations, many of you are here, that helped put this on: Department of Athletics, College of Engineering, Office of Financial Aid, University Development, Office of Institutional Equity, Undergraduate Admissions, and Academic Multicultural Initiatives. Thank you. So our theme this year is about community, diversity, and stories. And I want to let you know that this is not just a one-day event, that we have been having events. About 250 folks have already participated over the last several months in over half a dozen programs put together by our diversity committee. And one of the programs you can sign up for on the table out in the lobby afterwards. This is our passport, BNF Passport, Diversity Passport Program, which is an invitation to join a self-directed learning community with monthly learning goals. You can get your passport stamped out there in the lobby. It's a lot of fun. It's a really cool booklet, and you can even do more than once a month learning with the passport. So please participate in that and stop by the table afterwards if you haven't already punched in. I also want to mention that there is something especially extraordinary about today, in addition to it being our day to observe Martin Luther King's impact on the country and the world. The chill that you feel is not just the weather. It's an increasing energy and vibration of our society. Today also happens to be the bicentennial anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. I'm not sure how many of you knew that. It also happens to be, I think you might know this, the day before the nation's historic inauguration of President-elect Obama. President Lincoln, thank you. President Lincoln, as you know, inspired the civil rights movement. His leadership, wisdom, and belief in the principles of freedom and democracy have served as guideposts for us. As you know, in 1964, Dr. King became the youngest person to receive the Nobel Peace Prize for his work to end racial segregation and racial discrimination through civil disobedience and other nonviolent means. In accepting this award, he said, "I accept this award today with an abiding faith in America and an audacious faith in the future of mankind." And tomorrow we inaugurate President-elect Barack Obama, an author and storyteller himself, who wrote a book 40 years after King's Nobel Peace Prize entitled The Audacity of Hope, Thoughts on Reclaiming the American Dream. So this theme about community is an important value that business and finance holds high as one of our 8 important values. We define community, and it's on our website and we talk about it regularly, as a group of people united by a common vision, shared values, who are dedicated to supporting each other and enhancing their knowledge and performance. So this entails several pieces: taking ownership over making it better where you live and where you work. 2, acknowledging the balance between personal and work lives. I'll say I'm not perfect, that's a challenge. Appreciating the contributions of each member and looking out for each other. So as a community, we have a common vision of making Blue go, ensuring that University of Michigan maintains and enhances its position as one of the greatest comprehensive public research universities in the world. We also have a vision of making this a compassionate and a great place to work. So in the spirit of this theme, I also want to tell a very quick story of an unassuming business and finance employee who, through the simple power of thoughtful, heartfelt words, positive intention, and caring, enriched the life of one of our patients at the Cancer Center. So one of the patients at our Cancer Center handed out her holiday letter to a few employees, not the employees she talks about, to just let them know the impact that this has had on her. I will spare you the details about some of the family events and vacations that she took over the year. You know these holiday letters, right? They can get a little long. But I'll read you the middle paragraph. This is from a single mother of a 6-year-old son who gave a copy of this to some employees at the Cancer Center. She says, "Let me tell you about the University of Michigan Cancer Center and my message for this holiday season to you. The center is full of incredible doctors, nurses, infusion staff that live up to the reputation of the first-rate medical institution. But let me tell you what the Michigan difference is to me. It is one man, not a doctor, not a nurse, but he has made all the difference to me and my attitude towards my care every day since my journey started at the Cancer Center in August. He works in the parking attendant booth there and has the greatest smile you've ever seen. He actually has the ability to make you feel good about driving into a place you never thought you would find yourself going and wished no one would ever have to enter. But he greeted me that first day with a smile, and as I told him I was there for my first in a series of appointments, he didn't say, 'Pull ahead,' or 'It'll be okay,' or 'Good luck.' He paused, smiled, and said, 'Be encouraged.' Those 2 words have made all the difference to me. I'm sure this man says wonderful things to many people he greets throughout the day, but he has made me feel like they are just for me. And when my hair fell out and I started wearing a wig, he noticed and said that I made the day more beautiful. And when I became more comfortable with just wearing a head wrap to treatment, he said, 'You're sporting a new look today, and you know what? You still look gorgeous.' And for that moment and the rest of the day, I felt that way. So in this time of recession, job losses, occasional holiday stresses, try to be encouraged. And remember that sometimes the few simple words that you take the time to say to someone may be the best part of their day." Now, I like this story because... Thank you. I admit the first time I read it, I had a little tear coming out of my eye. I like it because it reminded me that small words that are genuine and honest and from the heart can have a huge contribution to what we experience, to our team, to our individual performance, and to our community experience. And they can come from unexpected places, diverse places, and they can have an unexpected impact. So, who would have thought that the most important and lasting feeling of hope from this woman's experience at the Cancer Center came from the parking attendant. So keep that in mind. We are extremely excited today to have Les Brown, our speaker, as a keynote speaker. Very blessed. I'm going to let our co-chair, Cheryl Mays, have the honor of doing the full introduction. And before I do that, I want to do something that's a little unusual for this event. I want to broaden our thinking about community and diversity and the value that we put on different backgrounds and experiences. So this year, for the first time, we've chosen to recognize the contributions and sacrifices that members of our community and their families have made to our country through their service in the military. I need to highlight the importance of welcoming and sharing these diverse and life-defining experiences into our community. Many members of this group feel reluctant to share the value of their experiences with the rest of us. And I'm not quite sure why. I do have one personal experience with that, and that is my father, who the entire time I was growing up never spoke one word about his experience in the military. From age 19 to 22, he served in the infantry, and the only thing he told us until I was about 40 was that he crawled around on his stomach for 4 years and never wanted to go take us camping because of that in Europe. And so he was crawling around on his stomach in Europe, in World War II, and therefore he wouldn't want to go on any hikes or ever take us camping, which was fine. One day, we took him with my children to see Saving Private Ryan, and that evening, he told his 3 sons and his 3 grandchildren for about 3 hours all of his experiences about a 19-year-old, crawling through the mud in Europe, sacrificing what he did for his country, and that was a profound experience for us. It helped us understand him, and it helped us understand ourselves. And it reminded me that you never know what's going to tip it over to somebody being able to open up about something that was either so painful or so impactful that they're just not ready to talk about it. And it was a simple act of just going to a movie as a team and coming back and being there to listen. On December 8th, we held a Business and Finance Veterans Luncheon where we acknowledged and thanked 39 BNF former and current members of the U.S. military, and we asked them to share their stories with each other. We also invited them here today and their families to be more formally recognized by our community for their service. You can tell who they are by their red and white ribbons that they're wearing. Look like this, very colorful. And during the short PowerPoint presentation that we're going to do right now, we'd like to recognize the 5 branches of the military. I would ask, please, that any current or former members of any branch of the military to stand up while your branch of the service is being honored by the pictures and music. And if there are any family members in the audience of persons currently serving the military, I would invite you to stand as well. So please allow us to show this short. Yep, thanks. Can you all please stand one more time? Anybody that was served in the military, could you please stand one more time so we can see you? Thank you. And I please do come up to the podium or up to the front afterwards with your families. I'd be glad to meet you and thank you and exchange stories. I'd also like to thank you those of you who brought items who are able to make donations towards care package for members of our troop in Iraq and Afghanistan. I'd like to thank John Kinzinger of the local Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 310, for organizing and sending the care packages abroad. Thank you, John. And thanks again for being here. And enjoy the rest of the program. I now want to turn it over to our co-chair, Cheryl. You want to please come up here? Enjoy the program. Thank you very much for being here. Enjoy the rest of the day and the evening, and continue to celebrate as long as you wish afterwards with refreshments and some food afterwards. Cheryl?
Thank you so much, Tim. I'm so pleased to see everyone that is here that has come to share this convocation with us. And I'd just like to thank you on behalf of the Business and Finance Diversity Committee. You're all here not to hear me speak, but to hear this phenomenal man that is billed as our speaker today. He told me not to be up here singing a big old long song about him or anything like that, but I do have this to say. He is an author, he is a speaker, he is a speech coach who helps people tell their story. He also is the CEO, thank you, CEO of Les Brown Corporation. I have had the phenomenal pleasure of hearing Les Brown speak personally. It's been several years ago, and my husband at the time told me how inspired he was by Mr. Brown, and he had read his autobiography and just was, just enthralled by this man. And I found out that Les was speaking in Springfield, Ohio, so I snuck and bought tickets, and I didn't tell my husband at the time a word about it. I just said, baby, I got a surprise for you. I said, be ready at such time and at such date, and I got something that's gonna rock your world. So, yeah, and he tried to pry it out of me, but I'm like, I'm not telling. So at any rate, when it was time to go, we drove to Springfield, and when we got to the venue, on the marquee, he saw Les Brown's name, and he broke down and cried. It was one of the best gifts that he had received, and I was so proud to be able to give him that gift, because this man who comes before us now is such an inspiration to everyday people. And it is an honor, as well as a privilege, to introduce to some and to present to others Mr. Les Brown.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Let's give another round of applause for that. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you today, and this is really a historic moment for all of us as we begin to reflect not only on diversity and Dr. King's birthday and this historic moment for our country and for the world. It's an incredible time to be alive, the best of times and the worst of times. And so I'm excited about being here. Let's give a round of applause to our veterans once again, please. I'd like to introduce you to two speakers that's here with me that they have a message to change the planet. At this stage of my life, I've been speaking for over 4 decades, and so I've been on this mountain long enough. I train and develop speakers and help them to gain access to audiences and help them to bring their messages out to the planet to make it a brighter place. And I want to introduce you to Dr. Julie Van Putten. Give her a round of applause, medical director out of Columbus, Ohio. Attorney Star Babatoon. She is a diversity expert and also one of our speakers. Where's Star? Give her a round of applause. There's super. All right, Star. Yes. You know, Dr. King said he had a dream, and the dream was so we can all have dreams, so we can have access to our dreams. Let us say access. Yeah, so that we can all have access to our dreams. How many of you have major dreams you'd like to achieve? Raise your hands, please. Very good. I want you to shake someone's hand on your right and left, look them in the eyes and say, you have something special. Do that quickly, please. Say, you have something special. I like to ask that question and see people raise their hands, and I like to tell you that you have something special because you do. And I want to ask you another question, because it's celebrating Dr. King's dream, and that is so that everybody, regardless of your age, your gender, your paint job, if you're wearing a dress, you show up in a wheelchair, you have slanted eyes, you have an accent, he wanted everybody to be able to live their dream. Now I want to ask you another question. How many of you know if you had your life to live over again, you could have done more than what you've done thus far? Raise your hands, please. Now, that proves a point, that what we do and what we achieve in life is only a tip of the iceberg of what's possible for us. You have something special. You have greatness within you. You have the ability to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. And as we begin to celebrate and to recognize this historic moment, a lady said to me something that was very powerful. I asked her, how do you feel about Barack Obama's election? She said, I said to myself, Barack Obama has achieved his dream. And she says, now I've got to get a bigger dream. I've got to do it better. And I've got to do something different with my life. How many feel that kind of challenge? Raise your hands, please. This is an incredible time. As we begin to look at ourselves and look at our potential and look into the future, let us say together, live full. Live full. Die empty. Die empty. Say it again, live full. Live full. Die empty. Die empty. Dr. Howard Thurman, who was one of the mentors of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and Mahatma Gandhi and Albert Schweitzer, wrote something that grabbed me. 12 years ago, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. Given a 2 to 3 year prognosis, I stand before you because of God's grace and mercy. And trust me, it's better to be seen than to be viewed. Oh, you feel the brother up in here, Tim. As I speak to you now, my PSA is 471. That stands for prostate-specific antigen. And that, but for me, PSA stands for positively staying alive. And I was reading the work of Dr. Howard Thurman, who wrote, "Deep is the hunger, the voice of the genuine, the centering moment." He wrote something that grabbed me right after having 238 radiation seed implants 12 years ago, and my PSA continued to rapidly increase as I was reflecting on my life. He said, the ideal situation for a man or woman to die is to have family members praying with them as they cross over. He said, but imagine, if you will, being on your deathbed, and standing around your bed, the ghost of the dreams, the ideas, the abilities, the talents, the gifts given to you by life, but you, for whatever reason, you never pursued those dreams. You never acted on those ideas. You never used those talents, those abilities, those gifts. And there they are standing around your bed, looking at you with large, angry eyes, saying, we came to you, and only you could have given us life. And now we must die with you forever. And the question is, on this day, if you died, what dreams, what ideas, what talent, what books, what gifts, what abilities, what voice will die with you. Oh, it's great about Barack Obama. First time a black man reaching that position, the most powerful planet, the most powerful position on the planet. But what is it you've got in you? You have something special. You have dreams in you. Life is about dreams. It's about stories. It's about awareness. You have something special. You have the greatness in you that only you showed up to give. Nobody's going to give my speech. Nobody's going to write my book. Nobody's going to do what it is that has been given to you. You have something special. And to prove it, you were chosen, 1 out of 400 million sperm. God had something in mind. When somebody chooses you out of, they have 400 million choices, and they say, that's the one, that's the one, that's the one, that's the one. Whoa, that's real. That's what Dr. King died for, so that we can live that dream. But if you have the potential to live your dream, and if you don't live the dream, you're as bad off as a person who does not have the ability to live their dreams. Stony the road we trod, bitter the jesting rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. Yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our Father sighed. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We've come treading a path through the blood of the slaughtered. Someone paid a price for us to be here. I want you to think about your dream. I want you to think about 3 dreams. And dreams are always things that we want to do to make things better. I want you to think about some personal dream that you have. Mine was to buy my mother a home, to take care of my mother. That's my first personal dream because I'm adopted. I was born in a poor section of Miami, Florida called Liberty City, an abandoned building on a floor with a twin brother. We were 6 weeks of age. We were adopted by Mrs. Mamie Brown. 46, she had a 3rd grade education, but a PhD in motherwit. We ate the food left over from the families that she cooked for on Miami Beach. These are kind and generous people. They would say, Mamie, whatever food is left over after we eat, you can pack it up and take it home to those children that you have adopted. The Swiderski family, Sam Axelrod family, they looked out for us. Sense of community. Community. It's about being accepted, about being respected. It's about feeling connected. We wore the hand-me-down clothes of the children that Mama kept. They were too small. Mom would let them out. She could tell they're too large. She could take them in. And my mama could bake too. My mama could bake a sweet potato pie so good, you couldn't eat it with your shoes on. Yeah, take your shoes off so you can wiggle your toes. I used to say, Mama, what is it, boy? When I become a man, I'm going to buy you a big, beautiful home just like this. Why are we here? This is a time on Miami Beach. I'm 64. Used to have signs up, Jews, and then the N-word. No, they have Jews, dogs, and then the N-word, not allowed. Why are we here? I heard somebody say, African Americans have made it. They've got it made now. One is president, got it made. Why are we here? Life is so interesting. A friend of mine, Warren Griffin, motivational speaker, trying to find himself going across Europe. And at different places on the train, soldiers would come on board and wake up the sleeping passengers and ask the question, why are you here? Where have you been? And where are you going? And that's a question that all of us can reflect on. Why are you here? What caused you to show up? You had a lot of choices. Why are you here? What made you come here? Where have you been with your life? And as you look at your life, and as we honor the dreamer and look into the future, and you've got dreams and possibilities and hopes and ideas in you, Where are you going with that? What are you going to do? What will happen when you leave here? What's that personal dream of yours? What's some professional goal and dream you have? Mine was to do what I'm doing right now. I heard Dr. Norman Vincent Peale speak, and as a kid, I was inspired by his work. I was in special education. Never forget, a gentleman who changed my life, who introduced me to Dr. Peale, Mr. Leroy Washington. He was a substitute instructor, and he came in the room and said, "Young man, go to the board and work this problem out for me." I said, "Oh, sir, I can't do that." "Why not? I'm not one of your students." "Look at me." "Yes, sir." "Go to the board and work the problem out anyhow." "I can't, sir." Now the kids start saying, "He's DT." "That's Leslie, that's not Wesley." "What's DT?" "He's the dumb twin." When I was in the 5th grade, I was put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade, labeled educable mentally retarded. Failed again when I was in the 8th grade, had my college training. And I said, "They're right, Mr. Washington." He came from behind his desk, he looked at me. He said, "Don't you ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality."
That's right.
Where are you going? And so my goal and dream was to do what I saw Dr. Peale do. I had a chance to meet him before he passed. He wrote the book, The Power of Positive Thinking. I'll never forget when Og Mandino, who wrote a book called The Greatest Salesman in the World, called me. "Les, I can't make an engagement. I have to open for Dr. Peale. Can you take my place?" I said, "Of course." I drove from Chicago to Kankakee, Illinois. I came to the back of the theater. His wife, Martha, greeted me. She just died a few months ago. I said, "Hi, my name is Les Brown." She said, "You're not the band leader." I said, "No, I'm not." She said, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy." She said, "Who's that?" I said, "My mama." So she called her husband. She said, "Pops, Les Brown is here, and it's not the band leader." And he said with his back to me, Les Brown, shoot for the moon, because even if you miss, you'll land among the stars." Sir, that's my quote. I sent that to you from a special education project we had in 11th grade. "Mr. Brown, I thought you were the band leader." I end all of my speeches with that quote. "Shoot for the moon, because even if you miss, you'll land among the stars." I love that quote. "I'm honored to meet you." And he was up in age, and a young speaker was there and interrupted us. This is the fulfillment of a dream of being on stage with him. And this guy said, "Dr. Peale, how old are you?" He said, "Sonny, I'm 92. Young guy looked at him. He said, "I don't know if I want to live to be 92. He said, "That's because you've never been 91. How many of you have had some dreams you wanted to accomplish and you accomplished those goals? Raise your hands, please. Very good. Let us say together, raise the bar. Oh, we got to raise the bar now. We got to raise the bar. Barack has set the game standards higher. We got to raise the bar now. Even if your dream seems like a long shot, don't worry about it. Just keep on shooting. Big shots and little shots, and kept on shooting. Raise the bar. It's a long shot for me to be speaking here. At this august educational institution that's known around the planet, you produce some of the great minds on the planet. Give yourselves a round of applause. So your personal goal, what is that? Your professional goal, what is that? And your social contribution. I believe we live in the greatest country in the world that gives us an opportunity to live a life of contribution. Horace Mann said we should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind. What will be different because you showed up? How are you going to leave your mark? I saw this movie called About Schmidt with Jack Nicholson, and how many ever seen a movie around third or fourth time you saw some things you didn't see before? Raise your hands. And so in this movie, at the end, there was something that Jack said that grabbed me. He was writing a little boy named Nduku that he was donating money to on a monthly basis, and he vented about his frustrations and his anger and the disappointments in his life and all the problems in his marriage, how unhappy he was. Life did not turn out the way that he wanted it to turn out. But something he said that grabbed me at the end of the movie. He said, "Nduku, when you die, and everyone you know dies, unless you have done something significant with your life, it will be as if you were never born." Whoa. When you die and everyone you know dies, unless you have done something significant with your life, it will be as if you were never born. My daughter called me the other day from Atlanta. She was in traffic, and policemen drove in the center of the intersection on a motorcycle. We've all seen it, for a funeral procession, and she put her car in neutral to wait. And she said, "Ooh, oh, Dad." I said, "Baby, what's wrong?" "A funeral procession just passed by, and only 3 cars were behind the hearse." She said, "I want my life to have a greater impact than that." Everything we do for ourselves has been said, we take to our graves, but those things that we do for others, we leave behind. What will you leave behind? What will your mark be? What will be different? I believe as we gather here at Diversity Time, there's a higher calling on institutions of higher learning to be the model, to be the message, to enlighten, to give people encouragement, to inspire people, to heighten the level of awareness. So as we begin to look at this time, this place, and moment in history that historians will reflect on, let us look right now. Let us say together, be thankful together, please. See, in fact, in the midst of all the things that we're experiencing and all the foreclosures and the so-called national and international meltdown financially, and all the bankruptcies, and all the people that are being displaced in the job market, this era called by the late Peter Drucker, the 3 C's: accelerated change, overwhelming complexity, and tremendous competition. Even in the midst of difficulties, there's something to be thankful for. My favorite book says, "In all things give thanks." I'll never forget the first home that I bought for my mother. And because of mistakes that I made in that transaction, here I was, 2 o'clock in the morning, walking the floor, and I had to break the news to my mother: "Mama, we have to leave. The house is in foreclosure. It's going up for sheriff's sale." This was a dream of mine from 10 years of age. I'd saved money for this house, and I was ripped off. But there's an old saying, wherever you find yourself, at some point in time, you made an appointment to be there. I didn't do due diligence. I didn't read the fine print. I'm not telling you this story as a victim. I'm telling you this story just about the fact that stories do connect us. And as we begin to reflect on this time, we all have stories, but the stories we have and what brings us together are different. Immigrants who come to this country with a story seeking opportunity different than my story, because blacks who came here came in chains. We have a different story, and the themes are different too, and how things happen, how things show up. And so my story at that time, I felt like a victim when we went back to Liberty City from North Miami Beach, and people came out on the front porch and said, "Mamie, are y'all back?" "Yes, what happened to that home your boy talked about and bragged about that he's going to buy for you?" "He lost it. He lost a home. It's going up for a sheriff's sale." And there I was at the back of the truck, feeling stupid, feeling dumb, feeling defeated, feeling humiliated, crying like a baby. And Mama came round to the side of the truck, said, "Boy, hold your head up." I said, "Mama, I feel so stupid." I said, "Hold your head up. We still have each other. You have nothing to be ashamed of. Hold your head up." And I say to you, you're going through some stuff, hold your head up. You know somebody that's going through some things right now, hold your head up. What has happened has not come to stay, it has come to pass. Charles Udall said, in life you will always be faced with a series of God-ordained opportunities, brilliantly disguised as problems and challenges. As we begin to look at Barack Obama, he was running for office against Bobby Rush, a Black Panther in Chicago. It was a defining moment for him. He just knew he was going to win, and he lost. Bobby beat his socks off. But he didn't go around with his head between his legs that the Daily Machine defeated him. He didn't go around feeling sorry for himself. The next day, he thought about it. He spent time reflecting on that. How did I get here? What happened? What went wrong? He just knew he was going to win. When things happen to you, they can make you or they can break you. That made him. In that, he was thankful for the experience. How many have ever gone through some stuff? At the time, it was negative, but when you look back and look at it on the other side, you said, you know what? That was a good thing. Raise your hands, please. You know, how many have ever been in a relationship and you got out and look back and say, what state of mind was I in? What was I thinking about when I was up in there, up in there? Have you ever had moments in your life, for a long stretch in your life, you were temporarily insane? Raise your hands. All right. understand. I'm feeling you up in here, up in here. So be thankful as you think about your goals and dreams, and whatever those goals and dreams are, I want you to expand them. I found that most people fail in life not because they aim too high and miss. No, most people fail in life because they do just like I did. They aim too low and hit. For 14 years, I didn't do what I'm doing now. For 14 years, I stopped being. Les Brown, you don't have a college education. Les Brown, you've never worked for a major corporation. Les Brown, you don't have a book. You're not rich. You're not successful. I convinced myself that I couldn't do what I'm doing right now. I procrastinated. I know I'm the only one in here ever procrastinated. I know I'm the only one in here that talked myself out of something that I wanted to do. I was being practical and realistic, and sometimes you have to really stop, particularly if you're going through some stuff, because Marion White said something at a time when I was fired from a job that I loved and did extremely well. He said, in life, when you don't have enough courage or insight to know that you have outgrown a situation and it's time to move on, life will move on you. So, why are we here? You guys got it made. Y'all got it all together. You know, my favorite book says, judge a tree by the fruit it bears. Let us say together, access. Equality. You know, a woman earns less than a man and each dollar that she performs. The same work, women earn less, about 75 cents on the dollar. That's just on women. The median net worth of the average American family, we're about to inaugurate black president tomorrow. Let's look at the numbers. Current, Caucasian, $88,650. Hispanic, $7,932. Black, $5,988. Wow. In the land of opportunity, everybody's equal. How's that possible? We have more African American PhDs and MBAs and college trained in the United States than anywhere else on the planet. Go to any corporation, any of the colleges and universities, look at the lower paying jobs. We are crowded there. The higher paying jobs, numbers get real small. So in the midst of that, what do we have to do? Let us say together, be active. Be active. You got to keep on working. Progress has been made, but you got to keep on working. Can't slack up. Can't buy into the illusion that you've made it. No, let me tell you something. You got to keep on working. I read 2 to 3 books a week. Why? I don't have a college education. I have to keep on working. I've earned over $28,000 in the last 55 years, in the last 28 years, earned over $55 million doing what I do. I don't tell you that to impress you, but to impress upon you, you have greatness within you. Had no idea that I could do it. People say money won't make you happy, but everybody want to find out for themselves. A friend of mine, Rita Davenport, say money ain't important, but it's right up there with oxygen. And let me tell you something, fellas, even if you're homeless as I am, you got some money, women will find something cute on you. Oh, baby, he walks like Denzel Washington. He's got eyelashes like Tom Cruise. I used to be so broke, I'd walk past a bank and trip the alarm. Creditors would call the house and my children would answer the phone and say, my daddy say he ain't home. And I'm so glad they have caller ID. I don't know what to do. Because sometimes creditors would call and I would answer the phone. Hello, may I speak to Les Brown? I'm sorry, but he's not here. You sound like Les Brown. Don't go there, big boy. Oh my God. I'm just telling you the truth. Oh, so I want you to raise the bar yourself. Let us say together, raise the bar. Yeah, see, and what's your social contribution? Mine is reduce the number of women who die from breast cancer. How many men? My mother was a 22-year breast cancer conqueror. How many men over 40? Raise your hands, please. Mine is reduce the number of men who die from prostate cancer. I always encourage men to get their PSA test and their digital rectal examination. And I'll be glad when they can check our prostate, Tim, by looking in our ears. Oh, you feel it, brother, up in here, up in here. Yeah, I'm turning red talk about, but y'all can't see it, you know what I mean? I was at this place, a guy used to play for Ohio State as a lineman. I know y'all don't like Ohio State, but he's a urologist, 385 pounds. Hey, Les, let me give you a free rectal. It's no, buddy, you too motivated. Homie, don't roll like that. You understand what I'm talking about? Are you feeling, brother, up in here, up in here? Repeat after me, please. Have some fun. You know, Helen Keller said, life is short and unpredictable. Eat the dessert first. You got to smile. Have some fun. Have some fun. Even the homely people look better when they smile. You know, watch this. I want you to smile at the homely person on your right and left right quick. Huh? Now, if you look over there, they're already smiling, then you are the homely one. Now, part of the reason that I can talk to you the way I do about living life at a higher level is because of the fact that laughter is very important. I study psychoneuroimmunology, and now I'm cancer-free, I'm debt-free, and I'm drama-free. And part of my healing process is laughter. Laughter. They did a study. You know, 1 minute of anger weakens your immune system for 4 to 5 hours. 1 minute of anger weakens it for 4 to 5 hours. 1 minute of laughter strengthens your immune system for over 24 hours. Now, when I get through, you're not going to get sick for 10 years. All right, okay. I tickle myself. The check already cleared the bank. I'm happy, honey. So you got to be active. You want to actively pursue your dream. You want to actively upgrade your knowledge and your skills. Go back and increase your base of your capacity to do more. They don't pay you by the hour. They pay you for the value you bring to the hour. What is it you need to learn? What is it you need to do? How is it you need to begin to upgrade yourself? That's what the dream is about. Let us say together, be connected. So you want to associate with people that you can learn from, people that you can grow from. That's what the dream is about. In order to make the dream become reality, you got to look at your relationships and ask the question, what is this relationship doing to me? Barack Obama didn't win the election by himself. He had some strategic relationships with people that knew how to work the internet that Time magazine said in 2007 was the person of the year, and how to raise $1 million a day. Oh, you don't do this by yourself. In order to live your dream, you've got to ask the question, who should I count on and who should I count out? Everybody don't want something more. Everybody don't have a dream that they want to go after. So you want to be mindful of your relationships. Why? Because people rub off on you. Sidney Poitier wrote a book called The Measure of a Man. I like the book, but I love his audio. As he talks about relationships, he said, when you go for a walk with someone, something happens without being spoken. Either you adjust to their pace, or they adjust to your pace. Whose pace have you adjusted to? You want to be connected. Dr. Dennis Kimbrough out of Atlanta said, if you're the smartest one in your group, you need to get a new group. If you don't, you won't live your dream. You'll be living a nightmare. It's very important. Let us say together, be persistent. See, you have to have dogged determination. Repeat after me, please. I will fail my way to success. Yeah, see, you're going to have tremendous odds to overcome when you're dealing with sexism and racism and all types of other challenges in life. You're going to have all kinds of things to overcome. You will fail your way to success. It was not easy for Dr. King. It was not easy for Barack. It was not easy for the people that have made this country what it is today. You have to be persistent. You got to be hungry in order to make it happen. Let us say together, you got to be hungry. Say it again, you got to be hungry. Oh yeah, people that are hungry are unstoppable. People that are hungry are relentless. People that are hungry, no excuse is acceptable. Oh, I'm going to come back to that. You've got to be hungry in order to make the dream become reality. The other thing is, let us say together, be connected. We did that. No, be concerned. Let's say be concerned. Yeah, see, things are going to happen. You want to be concerned, but you don't want to be consumed. See, it doesn't matter what happens out here. It doesn't matter what the news is saying. It doesn't matter if the Dow Jones drops by 700 points. If you're a bum in Central Park, what difference does it make to you? You don't want to allow your mind to be infected by all the negative news that's out here. You want to stay focused. Say, stay focused. Stay focused. On your stuff. Yeah, you want to stay focused on you. What are you going to do? Don't wait for the economic rebound. Drive the economy. Don't wait for it. Don't be a volunteer victim. You want to be a thermostat, not a thermometer. Most people are thermometers. They're talking about how bad things are. They're listening to the news. They're reading the newspaper, and they're overwhelmed with negative information. Negative information is more powerful than positive information. MIT did a study. If I say to you, Tim, you can't do that, someone else has to come along and say, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it, 17 times to neutralize at one time. So this is a time that we want to be concerned but not consumed with negative, toxic information. We don't want to be carriers of that. People ask you, how are you doing? I said, I'm doing better than good and better than most. Even when my PSA was over 200, they said, how are you doing? I'm doing better than good and better than most. I'm still here. Every day is a good day. If you don't believe it, try missing one. And the body responds. It responds. Doctors are amazed. Dr. Julie Van Putten, she says, you know, they told me 3 reputable places, Mr. Brown, cancer's metastasized in your body, without even taking the final test of soft tissue and a bone scan. They knew just based upon the numbers I had cancer in my body, but they didn't know my program. I was concerned, but I wasn't consumed with what they're saying. Repeat after me, please. Make a radical change. Yeah, you want different results in your life right now? Make a radical change. This is a crisis we're in, but crisis in the Chinese language means danger, but it also means opportunity. There are people talking about Dr. King today, and he was a great man, as if he were, in fact, an exception. No, he's an example for all of us. He's an example. Barack is an example. Every time I think my dream is too big, I say, oh, Barack, I get back in reality. Wait a minute, he can become president, I could do this. I'm working on some big screen motivational events, doing in theaters all across the country. Somebody says, oh, you can't do that. You ever done that before? No, neither have I done motivational speaking either. Haven't done that, but I'm doing it. See, you want to be intelligently ignorant. According to the laws of aerodynamics, the bumblebee isn't supposed to fly because the body's too large to be held up by its little puny wings, but the bumblebee doesn't know it. There's some stuff that you can do that you don't even know you can do right now. What kept me procrastinating for 14 years, I couldn't see myself doing it. So what? I've never done it before. So what? All of us are born the same way, dumb, naked, and speechless. Everything else we learn. Am I right? Repeat after me, please. Leap and grow your wings on the way down. Yeah, this is no time to play it safe. But first of all, there's no safe position in life. Hello, there's no safe position in life. Most people allow their fear of failure to outweigh their desire to succeed. There's no safe position in life. You can't get out of life alive. Hello, you're going to die anyhow. Don't die for nothing. You can't get out of here alive. No, that's why I say shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. Have some fun. Become a risk taker. Viscott said, if you're not willing to risk, you can't grow. And if you can't grow, you can't become your best. And if you can't become your best, you can't be happy. And if you can't be happy, then what else is there? It's risky speaking up. It was risky during Dr. King's time. It cost him his life. It was very risky. People from all walks of life died with him. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. It was risky, but we're here because some men and women were willing to stand up. There's no saying stand up for what you believe in because you can fall for anything. Let us say together, be positive. Be positive. I like the fact that we're recognizing our veterans. These guys are very positive. Came in a time when extreme segregation in this country. Why are we here? Extreme segregation. These men that you see here, in spite of how they were treated, they were fighting for freedoms and liberties they couldn't enjoy here in this country. Hitler was amazed. He was amazed at black people. He was asking black soldiers, how could you in the press, what's wrong with these crazy people? You're fighting for liberties, you don't have freedom. You can't go to public bathrooms and water fountains. Every area of American life, you are living at the bottom. You are kept out of everything of any value. They were positive. I talked with some of the Tuskegee Airmen, and I said, how did you handle that? They're in their 80s and 90s now. I said, why would you do what you did? Why did you put your life on the line? Many of your men died for a country where you came back home, you were disrespected, had to ride to the back of the bus. He told me about went from Connecticut, and he was a captain and flew down to Atlanta to pick up his crew, and they wouldn't allow him to check into a hotel. I said, how'd you handle that? And he said, the reason that we put our lives on the line, we were going to be positive and give everything we could, and we felt that we could make things better for America and for our people. If they saw that we were willing to die for this country, for things that we could not enjoy here, it might make them feel differently about the people that we represent. Wow. That's worth applauding. You all applaud all those other videos. That's worth applauding. That's true Americanism. Let's say be creative. Be creative. This country is very good at being creative. Top Gun. How many of y'all saw that movie with Tom Cruise? Top Gun. That's what you call creativity at its worst. Top Gun. The first Top Gun, ladies and gentlemen, for many years was not listed in American books. 1949 was the first Top Gun. You know what they said? The winner of 1949, know what they said? Unknown. The trophy for the 1949 winners could not be located. Could not be located. America. There is the first Top Gun. Be faithful. That's the first Top Gun. James H. Harvey III. That's the first Top Gun. These guys had a quest to be the best. They had inferior equipment. They gave them used planes to compete. They gave them used planes. They would not train them. They had to train themselves. They competed and they won. They won. That's worth applauding. Come on, you applaud the other videos. If we're going to make this Veterans Day, let's do that. Let's recognize Americans who fought and died for this country for liberties that they could not experience. And know what? When they won, the trophy disappeared mysteriously, was discovered in the late 80s. A lady went on a search, called a black general to help her out, and they found it in a crate in Dayton, Ohio, in the Air Force Museum, and brought it out and flew the remaining members who lived there to see it and take a picture. And those old men came in their 80s and 90s and cried because they never saw it. They never saw it. And that battalion, the men who won, they sent them all around the world. They broke the group up so they couldn't win again. Why are we here? That's why we're here. Let us say, be hopeful. Be hopeful. Yeah, see, when things happen to you, they can make you bitter or they can make you better. We must be hopeful. Ladies and gentlemen, with all of our imperfection, I still believe this is the greatest country on the planet. I was in Manila. Oh, that's worth applauding, absolutely. I was in Manila and saw a bumper sticker say, "Yankee, go home and take me with you." Yes, indeed. You have to be hopeful. Stuff's going to happen that we don't agree with. Things are going to happen that's injustice, that's not fair. That's not fair. Life is not fair. It's not fair that birds eat worms, and they do. They do. It's called life, and you have to handle it. One of my heroes said in life, you know, you always be faced with challenges, and you have to deal with it. Rackham said, you know the why for living you can endure almost anyhow. Why are you here? What drives you? What caused you to show up? Benjamin Disraeli, at a time when Jews were not allowed out after 10 o'clock at night, became head of a country, and they asked him, how'd you get here? And he says, nothing can resist the will of a people that will stake even their existence on the extent of their purpose for good. You think about it. Be the change you want to see in the world, Gandhi. As we begin to look into the future, as right now, that we're called to do more. We are called right now. There's a higher calling. We are still here. Those of us that are here, we've lived in 2 centuries, and we've witnessed something no one even thought of. But the fact that we couldn't think of it and see it didn't matter. My favorite book says, eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor is in the heart of mankind what God has in store for you. There are things in you that you haven't given birth to yet. Had talents in you. I almost died in the last 30 days. Had 5 stents in my coronary arteries. Could have dropped dead just like Tim Russett. Had no idea that I had the kind of coronary blockage, over 90% blockage, my right and left coronary artery. Had no idea. I was on the way out of here and didn't even know. How much time do you have left? How much time? We don't know. Let us say together, live now. Live now. Do what you can. Do what you can. Where you are. With what you have. With what you have. Shake someone's hand on your right and left and say, leave your mark. Leave your mark. Leave your mark. You're here. You were chosen for a great work. Leave your mark. I never forget Mr. Washington. Mr. Brown, yes, sir. Young man, what do you want to do with your life? Sir, I want to make my mother proud. I want to buy my mother home. He said, Mr. Brown, he said, you don't get in life what you want. You get in life what you are. He said, be ye not conformed to this world, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. He gave me a set of tapes listened to by a guy named Earl Nightingale called Lead the Field. Dr. Norman Vincent Peale's book, The Power of Positive Thinking. He said, listen to this, program yourself to success. I suggest to you, as you're looking at yourself, looking at your goals, and looking into the future, this is an incredible time. Let us say together, anything's possible. Anything's possible. Yeah, see, at the beginning of the 19th century, there was a crisis. A national crisis was there weren't enough horses to go around. So transportation would be limited. That gave birth to the T-model Ford. In this room, somebody's got an idea in this room that can turn all of this around overnight. Anything's possible. We got to come from a mindset of possibility. From this time, in this era, more inventions, mark me on this, more ideas, more businesses, more entrepreneurs will give birth during this time than any time in history, I guarantee you. We're about to turn the planet upside down with an economic renaissance. Say, you're right, you're right. Say it to me. Say, you're right, Les. And I'm going to be a part of it. Say it right. Say, I'm going to be a part of it. Some of that money's got my name on it. I know that's right. Absolutely. We got to come from a place of possibility. Let us say together, it's necessary. It's me. It's hard. It's worth it. Absolutely. I want to be a disc jockey. He said, why? He said, I want to buy my mother home. He said, good. Work on your mind and work on your communication skills, because once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. He said, I want you to listen to Paul Harvey every day. I said, who's Paul Harvey? He said, he's the world's greatest communicator, Mr. Brown. Always listen to people who are successful, who are doing what it is you want to do. Whatever goals and dreams that you have, find a mentor. Why? Because you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. Tiger Woods says, a coach, you need a coach. You need someone that can help you bring your stuff out, to release what Elizabeth Browning would call the imprisoned splendor. You can't do it by yourself. So I listen to Paul Harvey every day. At lunchtime, while the kids in the auditorium, I would go in his car and sit in the hot burning sun and listen to Paul Harvey so I could learn how to tell the rest of the story. He was captivating. I was learning from him. And here's something else. He said, change your relationship. He said, OQP. Let us say OQP. OQP. Yeah, only quality people. Yeah, you want to make your dreams come true? Work on your mind, read 10 to 15 pages of something positive every day, listen to motivational messages, program your mind, be ye not conformed to this world, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, develop your communication skills. Barack Obama is president because he was able to tell his story. 2 men had a story to tell. One a POW, 5-year veteran of Vietnam, prisoner of war, great honorable man. The other one, a Southside Chicago activist, raised in a single-family household. 2 stories. Your ability to tell your story about your business, about your product, about your institution, about your fundraising costs, about your services is very important. Giving a strategic message that distracts, dispute, and inspire. Distract people from the story that they're listening to. How people live their lives is a result of the story they believe about themselves. That's why this institution is called to hold itself to a higher standard in terms of not only just delivering the message, but being the message and helping people to connect through diversity and their stories, and strategically deliver stories that distract people from the story they believe about themselves. Strategically begin to help them to overcome the possibility blindness, and then inspire them to become, as Mother Teresa would say, to become a pencil in the hand of God and start writing new chapters in their lives. Diversity enriches all of us because it allows us, even though our stories are different and the arguments are different and the themes are different, it allows us to recreate ourselves and start new chapters, and institutions of higher learning are held to that standard to expand awareness and to introduce new strategic messages that create a brighter tomorrow. And so Mr. Washington, that's what he did to me. He helped me to get a brighter vision of myself, a larger vision beyond my circumstances and mental conditioning. I started working with myself, listening to Paul Harvey. I changed my relationships. You got to look at your relationships and ask the question, what is this relationship doing to me? There's some people that are always there when they need you. Some people, if you never saw them again, it would be too soon. Les, can I change him? No, it's a full-time job changing yourself. And some people are so negative, they can walk into a dark room and begin to develop. If you're sitting with them, just blink your eyes. I see you, I see you. So I followed the things that Mr. Washington said. I went to apply for a job on Miami Beach. Milton Butterball Smith is the program director at WMBM radio station. Hello, Mr. Butterball. How are you, sir? My name is Les Brown, sir. I'd like to be a disc jockey. He said, young man, you have any journalism in your background? No, sir, I don't. You have any background whatsoever? No, sir, not in radio. No. He said, I'm sorry, we don't have any job for you. Have you ever had an experience where you just been devastated with rejection? Have you ever gone through that? I went through, I was devastated. I went back and I told Mr. Washington. Mr. Washington said no. He said, don't take it personally. Most people are so negative, they have to say no 7 times before they say yes. He said, you got to be hungry. When you're hungry, you'll fight against all of the challenges you're facing. Every day, hunger is a commitment and the willingness to go from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. I was hungry. That's what you've got to do. The people that created a brighter day for us and will create all the brighter days for tomorrow, the people that are going to overcome adversity and reverse things economically and mentally for our country, people that are hungry for a difference. There's a difference between being volunteer victims and being in charge of your life and being the architect of your future, because they understand that we are the beneficiaries of the past, the trustees of the present, and the architects of the future. When you're hungry, you don't have time to focus on what's wrong. You're always working on creating something that's right. There's never been a statue erected to a critic. When you're hungry, you are consumed with working positively, moving in the direction of where you want to go. And so I became the errand boy for the disc jockeys. I came back again. Hello, Mr. Butterball. How are you, sir? My name is Les Brown, sir. I'd like to be a disc jockey. Young man, weren't you here yesterday? Yes, sir, I was. Didn't I tell you no yesterday? Yes, sir, you did. Why are you back today? Well, sir, I didn't know whether or not somebody was laid off or somebody was fired, sir. Nobody was laid off or fired, and I get on out of here. I came back the next day. Hello, Mr. Butterball. How are you, sir? My name is Les Brown, sir. I'd like to be a disc jockey. I know what your name is. Weren't you here the last 2 days? Yes, sir. Didn't I tell you no the last 2 days? Yes, sir. Then why are you back today? Well, sir, I don't know whether or not someone got sick or someone died, sir. No one got sick or died. No one was laid off or fired. Now, don't you come back here again. I came back the next day talking loud, looking happy like seeing him for the first time. I said, hello, Mr. Butterball, how are you? He looked at me betrayed. He says, go get me some coffee. I said, yes, sir. My favorite book says, the greatest among you will be your servant. How many of you are serious about living your dream? Raise your hands, please. Very good. Repeat after me, please. Provide more service than you get paid for. Yes, provide more service than you get paid for. Henry David Thoreau said, do not go where the path may lead, but go where there's no path and leave a trail. When I came into the speaking industry, the way I was able to carve out a place for myself, because it's governed by the Dale Carnegie course. How many of you ever heard of it? Great course. They teach, tell them what you're going to tell them, then tell them what you told them. I train my speakers, find out who they are, and all that get understanding. Don't let what you want to say get in the way of what they need to hear. Custom design and craft your message and your story so it fits their needs. A story has no power in and of itself. You have to take into account who's going to hear this and how can I deliver it strategically to change the way they think, change the way they feel, and change their behavior. If you don't do that, all it is cheap entertainment. Hold yourself to a high standard. What industry are you looking at? What position are you looking at? What goal do you have? Hold yourself to a higher standard. You've got something unique in you. You are different. All of us are born unique, but most people die copies. And so I became the errand boy for the disc jockeys. I'd go get their lunch and their dinner, and I'd stand in the control room looking at them working those control boards, knowing my time would come. Repeat after me, please. I expect to live my dream. Yeah, you've got to have that spirit of expectation. And then on the weekends, disc jockeys would come out, and their cars would be waxed clean inside out. Hey, who did this? I did, sir. How much you charging us for that, young boy? Oh, nothing, sir. I'm just trying to help out. Let us say together, build relationships. See, if you're going to create communities, you have to build relationships. There's sections of this area they call the hood. You know why they call it the hood? Because hoods are places where people don't know each other. Neighborhoods, communities of people you know, you like, and you trust. We talked about earlier, in order to create community, people want to be accepted, they want to be respected, and they want to feel connected. When you have those elements going for you, you can build a powerful community and enrich and empower each other. So I became the errand boys for those jocks, and as a result of doing that extra work, they trusted me. Hey, Les, yes, they sent me their car keys. Look here. Donna Ross and the Supremes are coming to town, the Four Tops and the Temptations. Pick them up, take them to the Fontainebleau Hotel. I said, yes, sir. I would drive them all over Miami Beach in disc jockeys, big blown Cadillacs. Didn't have a driver's license, but I was driving like a hedgehog. Then one day, a disc jockey by the name of Rackham Roger was drinking while he was on the air. Rackham Roger got so drunk he could not complete his show. It was a Saturday afternoon, and I was the only one there, looking at him through the control room window, walking back and forth, young, ready, and hungry. I was saying, drink, Rock, drink. Drink, Rock. I'd have gone get him some more if you'd asked me to. Then pretty soon the phone rang. It was the general manager, and I answered the phone. I said, hello? He said, young boy, this is Mr. Klein. I said, I know. He said, Rock can't finish your program. I said, I know. He said, would you call one of the other DJs in? And I said, yes, sir. I hung the phone up and said, now he must think I'm crazy. I called my mom and my girlfriend, Cassandra, and said, y'all come out on the front porch and turn up the radio. I'm about to come on air. I waited for about 20 minutes, and I called him back. I said, Mr. Clyde, I can't find nobody. He said, young boy, you know how to work the controls? I said, yes, sir. He said, go on there and segue the records. Don't you say nothing here. I said, yes, sir. I couldn't wait to get old Rock out of the way. I put on the fast record. I said, look out, this is me, LB Triple P. Les Brown, your platter playing papa. There were none before me, and there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only. Young and single, love to mingle, certified, bona fide, indubitably qualified to bring you satisfaction and a whole lot of action. Look out, baby, I'm your love man. I was hungry. Come on, give the old man a round of applause. Shake someone's hand on your right and left and say, you gotta be hungry. Ladies and gentlemen, you got to be hungry. People that are hungry and not sitting around talking about what's in the newspaper, they're not talking about the news. People that are hungry are getting in position. People that are hungry are preparing themselves. People that are hungry are planning some goals. People that are hungry are raising the bar on themselves. People that are hungry are unstoppable. People that are hungry, that you don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. People that are hungry know you have to provide more service than you get paid for. People that are hungry know you have to be unstoppable. One great American said, I choose not to be a common man. It's my right to be uncommon if I can. I seek opportunity, not security. I do not wish to be a kept citizen, humbled and dull by having the state look after me. I want to take a calculated risk, to dream and to build, to fail and to succeed. I refuse to live from hand to mouth. I prefer the challenges of life to the guaranteed existence, the thrill of fulfillment to the still calm of utopia. I will never cower before any master, nor bend to any threat. It's my heritage to stand erect, proud and unafraid, to face the world boldly and say, this I have done. That's what diversity means. That's what the American dream means, an unstoppable spirit to make your mark. Come on, give the old man a round of applause. My young speakers here watching me say, he's 64 now, trying to see if the old man missing the beat. I tell him a young broom sweep clean, but an old broom nowhere to go. Don't let this 64 fool you. I'd like to leave this with you. This incredible time. Diversity does enrich us. It creates communities, and stories connect us. And we have the power to change the theme. We have the power to come together and create a brighter tomorrow. We have an incredible opportunity. It's in our hands. And I'd like to leave this with you. I don't know what your goals are. Here's what I know about you. You have something special. You have greatness within you. Here's what I know about you. Even though you've done some things you feel good about and proud of, you have more in you you can ever begin to imagine. How many of you saw Lion King? Remember Mustafa says, Simba, you are more than that which you have become. I don't know you, but I can tell you just based upon my own experience. You are more than that which you have become. Anybody told me, given my circumstances, born in an abandoned building on a floor, adopted, and both my birth parents came in here now and said, hi, son, I would not recognize anyone. Anybody who told me I would be speaking here at the University of Michigan, here, labeled educable, mentally retarded, put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade, failed again when I was in the 8th grade. Anybody told me that I would be doing what I'm doing? Ladies and gentlemen, all of you have more education and more intelligence and experience, your little pinky finger, than I have in my whole body. You have greatness within you. And I only attract millionaires or millionaires in training. That's why all the seats aren't filled. Like attracts like. If you and I weren't cut from the same cloth and branches of the same tree, you wouldn't be here. What I've done is only a tip of the iceberg of what's possible for you. When I heard those words, I was unemployed, and I said to myself, yeah, right. I was behind on my dreams and my bills. And the guy said, don't judge your situation based upon where you are right now and based upon what you don't have in the bank. He said, there's a reason you're in this room. And I saw him a few weeks ago, and I said, you're right. He said something else, too. He said, the only reason I'm standing up here, and you're seated out there, and some of you in this room have far more talent than I do. He said, and I'll never forget these words. He said, I represent the thoughts you have rejected for yourself. Whoa. Whoa. For 14 years, I stopped me. The thought, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves that we are underlings. For 14 years, I stopped myself. Don't stop yourself. It's your time. It's possible. Your dream is necessary. It's you. George Bernard Shaw said the people that make in this life look around for the circumstances that they want, and if they can't find them, they create them. It's hard. Easy, it's not an option, but it's worth it. And when you find out what will make it worth it for you, then your life creates some momentum, and it's done. Stick a fork in it. So I'd like to leave this with you, something my mother used to love to hear me say. She was a 22-year breast cancer conqueror. Leslie, yes, ma'am, mama. Say that thing for me, boy, that makes me feel better. I dedicate this to you as you continue to connect people and tell your story and create new communities and enrich and empower each other. It says simply this: if you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, if all that you dream and scheme is about it, and life seems useless and worthless without it, and if you gladly sweat for it and fret for it and plan for it and lose all your terror of the opposition for it, and if you simply go after that thing that you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold poverty, famish, or gulf, sickness or pain of body and brain can keep you away from the thing that you want, if dogged and grim you besiege and beset it with the help of God, you'll get it. This has been Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy. It's been a plum-pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege. God bless you, God bless your dream, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Home run.
Thank you.
We'd like to take a few minutes if folks have questions to ask Mr. Brown.
First off, I would like to thank you for the speech that you just gave. It's very inspirational to me as a recent graduate from U of M. I've lost my job, and I feel the pain of everybody in there.
You have not lost your job.
Oh, what?
No, you haven't lost your job. You've just been released from that job to do something bigger and better.
All right, I'll accept that.
Yeah, and be open to that. See, had I not been fired by Skyway Broadcasting Company, I would have never ran for the state legislature, and I was elected to 3 terms. Had I not been fired, I'd have never left Columbus, went back to Miami to take care of my mother, and then I became a motivational speaker. I became a talk show host. I produced 5 specials for PBS. Everybody that I hired at WVKO radio station, they're still in Columbus, Ohio. So, Helen Keller says, when one door closes, another door opens. But most of us spend so much time talking about that closed door, we don't see the open door. So don't start to, thou shalt decree a thing that shall be established unto you. Life and death and life is in the tongue. So don't talk about losing a job. Ask me about an opportunity.
Well, I have an opportunity to ask you about, so.
Come on, baby, come on. Bring it, my sister.
Since you have obviously been in the same boat at one time or another in your life, I'm wondering what sorts of things that you do personally to surround yourself around the proper people to help you get into the position you are today.
Well, first of all, I want you to do something. I want to give her, it's not over till you win. First of all, what I want you to do, I want you to start this program for yourself. Go to give it to the podium. You just look at people and see who's doing what it is you want to do, and who is it that's like-hearted, like-minded, similar values, that's on the move, that's going someplace, they want to do something with their lives. And if you feel comfortable, and you interview them to qualify them, because you don't want everybody in your life. There are 2 types of relationships. There are nourishing relationships and toxic relationships. Nourishing relationships, they hold you accountable, they challenge you, they push you, they make you stretch. Toxic relationships drain you. This Les Brown you now see, I did not know he existed. Mike Williams, who went to Ohio State, dropout, he talked to me between records. And he gave me a larger vision of myself. I am very good in radio. I can go into any market and I can dominate it. I got a gift with a microphone. So I had this limited vision of myself. He said to me in between records, Les, you can do more than be a disc jockey. I can? Oh yes, you can do more than be the man about town, Les Brown. I can? And through that relationship, this man challenged me to step out of the story that I believe I was just supposed to be a disc jockey, to begin to start writing a new chapter with my life, and gave birth to parts of myself that I didn't know. Unfortunately, the way that we're programmed is to think in terms of jobs, working 40 hours a week, doing the same thing for 40 years. That day is gone. This is a new day. So this is the time, you're a very young person. So now you have to create yourself around those things that you love to do. You were not born to work for a living, but to live your making. What do you love to do? And then find people who are doing that as well that you can learn from, and then create a strategy and a game plan to move you in the direction of that. See, the reason that people aren't living the dream is not because they don't have the information. The reason they're not doing it is because they had made the commitment. Now, John Kennedy said, we're going to the moon. He wasn't an engineer. The technology did not exist to make that possible. He said, we're going. He made the commitment. He spoke it. We're going to the moon. And people aligned themselves around the commitment. I said, I'm going to do this. Finally, when I saw this guy speak, and I said to myself, if he can do it, I can do it. My story up to that point for 14 years, I can't do this. I don't have a college education. I can't do this. I never worked for a major corporation. I can't do this. I'm not rich. I don't know the right people. I don't have the credentials. I don't have a track record. That was the story I was telling myself. And then I saw somebody that distracted me from that story because he was so boring, the room was as quiet as a graveyard between funerals. And I said, if he can do it, I know I can do it. When I found out he made $5,000 in 45 minutes, I said, some of that money's got my name on it. Okay?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yes, sir.
Hello, I really appreciate your message. My name is James Logan. First off, I'm also a twin. We have a lot in common that you may not know, but I do because I did my own research, and this is definitely a reason why I came. But
Twin power.
yeah, identical.
No, we're fraternal, and we're different as day and Mars.
Really?
But go ahead.
We're pretty similar. But I probably was labeled as a dumb twin too, so
Okay.
don't take it. But anyway, my question/comment is a little more personal. I'm actually on my way out to DC, but I didn't think I can catch you because you're so popular and that you would be pretty much talking afterwards. How can I be like you? How can I hone my message? No, seriously, how can I hone my message?
We do a training called Discover Your Power Voice.
Okay.
And what I want you to do, email me at lesbrown.com. Well, or either powervoice@lesbrown.com. That's my personal email, powervoice@lesbrown.com. I'll send you some information. I do train speakers, and not only train them, but give them access to audiences around the world. I've taken speakers to London, England, to Australia, to cities all over the United States. So it would be my pleasure to work with you.
Okay, my name is James Logan. I will be in touch.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And put on that twin power. All right. Yes. Yes.
Good evening, Mr. Brown. My
Good
name is
evening.
Audrey, and I'm really honored that I was able to see you in person
Thank
in
you.
my lifetime.
Thank
You're an
you.
inspiration.
And I'm glad too in my lifetime. Because they could have showed you a video.
You cited a profound statistic when you gave the median net worth of the average American family, with blacks being at the bottom
Yes.
at $59.88. For whatever reasons, most black families have been led by women. And when you cited some of the skills that all of us could use in following our dreams, such as, having connections, laughter, fighting for the thing that you believe in, those are also things that black women have worked very hard for hundreds and thousands of years as we had these families. So my dream, among the many I have, is to find ways to increase the net worth of the black family, especially those.
I'll teach you how to do that.
women.
I have a program that is designed to do that.
So that, in fact, looking at these statistics, we would have to, 60, 12, we would have to increase our net worth 12 times.
Let me pause, save you some time. First of all, I'm very aware of what the statistics are. That's number one. Number two, let me tell you where we spend zero time and zero money. Dr. Carter G. Woodson said, if you can determine what a man shall think, you'd never have to concern yourself with what he will do. If you can make a man feel inferior, you never have to compel him to seek an inferior status, for he will seek it himself. And if you can make a man feel justly an outcast, you never have to order him to go to the back door. He'll go without being told. And if there's no door, his very nature will demand one. In this area where I am, 100% of my clients are white. If you talk to any city government, state government, county government that's dealing with people that are impoverished, and ask them, how much money have you spent? I know you do job training, but how much money have you spent on mindset development? All achievement comes out of the human mind. All of them spend zero. So two things. One is mindset strategies. That's why we have some tools out front, what I gave that young lady, that helped to retrain the mind. Corporations spend $58 billion a year. Dr. Norman Vincent Peale wrote The Power of Positive Thinking. Wayne Dyer, Pulling Your Own Strings. Joel Osteen, Bring Out the Champion in You. Mind you, none of them are black. Oh, white. Now, if you're a white American, you're spending $58 billion a year on mindset, and if you go in the self-development, self-help section of a bookstore, you'll find a maximum of 5 books by African Americans dealing with the mind. And that's crucial ground. The other thing is learning, let us say together, process. I can teach anybody in here how to tell their story about their business, about their product and their service, and earn an additional $100,000 a year if they just mess it up. Because the reason that people fail is because they don't know that they don't know, and they think they know. They have not been taught the process. So I've developed a program, and if you're interested, I will show you how to do it, and it's duplicatable. Anybody can do it. If you can say your name and tie your shoes, anybody can do it.
Well, I accept that invitation, and I hope that you've already written that book entitled "No One Can Make You Feel Inferior Without Your Permission."
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
yes, Eleanor Roosevelt. That's her quote.
Thank you.
Yes. Next person, please. Yes. Good afternoon, sir. You're holding my future in your hands. That's greatness you have in your hands, young man.
Amen.
Yes.
My question is, what reading program do you use? Because I want to increase my reading speed so that I can read more books in a month and in a week.
You know, I don't have a reading program because I read out loud so that I can stay focused, and I'm working on my enunciation and developing my voice. And so it's just a habit I developed so that my mind would not trail off, because I had to develop a whole different languaging style and vocabulary to enter into this life that I'm now living. This is a corporate life that I never lived. So I had to listen to corporate people, study the tapes, and then begin to learn how to language in a style that would gain me access. So I don't read quietly, but I read, but because I'm so fascinated with this, I love it so much, I can digest large quantities of information and retain it and give it out when I'm on stage, but when I'm off stage, I don't even know what hotel room I'm in. Isn't that interesting? Did that real part, they labeled me right. They weren't wrong. I do have problems. But go ahead, sir. What's your question, please? Let me tell you something you should read. Read my book called Live Your Dreams. And there's a book out that I would encourage you to read that I love very much called Talent is Never Enough by John Maxwell. And Malcolm Gladwell has a new book out called The Outliners. I love that very much.
Who's the last author?
Malcolm Gladwell. Outliers. That's a good book. Yes. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Anybody else? Yes.
Hi, well, you already know my original reason for coming, but I am glad when I looked on that list, I did pick your seminar. Me and one of the coaches at my high school.
I have something for you and your friend, too, that should be a speaker. Yeah.
Oh, she's up there. She left me, but she's still here.
Okay, good. But I have something for you. I'll make sure. Yes.
But I thank you for, outside of your wonderful speaking skills, I love your humor. I love your humor.
Thank you.
And I thank you for encouraging me and everyone else. And on your website, do you mention, there were so many quotes, outside the ones from your favorite book that I hear every Sunday. Yeah. Do you have those quotes on your website? Because I drive a school bus, and I love to encourage my kids.
Yeah, I need to do a book on quotes. I can't say them. If people have asked me, what about that particular quote? I only know them when I'm speaking. I could only bring them up when I'm speaking as according to the situation, because I give a different speech every day. Part of what gave me the competitive advantage in this industry, 99% of all speakers have a memorized script. Right. So what gave me the competitive advantage was to do research and be able to I trained myself to speak extemporaneously so I can speak to the occasion. So when I got here and they saw the whole theme about the military and stuff, I put my slide presentation before I came over here. I do that every day. Drives my staff crazy. But I never do the same speech ever. So because I have, I'm ADD, attention deficit disorder. So I get bored real quick. You got to help me out. Can y'all tell I'm a little off? Yeah, go ahead.
Do you, even though I know you're a little off, do you write your speech out?
No.
Okay.
No, and I am. No, I don't write them out. I don't write them out.
Off people get along well.
Yes, we do. Yes,
okay,
right.
So,
yes.
Okay, so
I don't write them out,
there,
but
right?
I study. I have, I talked to Julie. We talked this morning and Star, and so I did an interview with the staff about what your goals are and what you want to achieve. And then I had, who's that came over this morning from the staff? Belinda, Lady Belinda, Miss Charisma, Miss Diva, she came over. She came over. I came over to brief you, honey. I thought, well, thank you so much for the briefing. Whatever.
One more thing, and I'm
University of Michigan Diva. Yes, I'm sorry, my medication went off. I'm sorry.
We're off together. My daughter is ADHD, and they diagnosed me the same. I just didn't have a diagnosis for it, so I'm good. Will you do me a favor? Will you write, next time you're doing a speech, one of your people that work with somebody, write it down so you can throw it in the book so I can buy it, so I can encourage my kids?
Here's what I would like for you to do. I have a Power Voice training called February 27th and 28th. Y'all write this down. of March. No, it's March 27th to 28th. I like to teach you. See, if I died now, you know what's frightened me? If I had died and I trained as many people as I know that I should train how to tell this story. Because we all have the ability to do it. And your ability to communicate and give a strategic message, because a story has no power in and of itself. And there's a particular way in which you have to communicate with kids. That's a different languaging approach, okay? I can teach you how to do that. Because
I mean, like kids on the bus.
I'm saying kids on the bus. Remember now, let me tell you what the most profound story up here is about the gentleman in the parking lot in the booth. You can make a difference on the bus. You've got those kids. This man in the booth, he respected that lady. He showed her that he cared. He was observant. He saw her as a human being, not as a parking attendant transaction. Okay, that's different. Judge a man not by what he does, but what he does that he doesn't have to do, and to judge the true quality of a man and what he does when nobody's looking. They didn't pay him to do that. But he did that and made that lady feel more valued than the doctors and the nurses who were attending to her medical needs. Because they were dealing with the body, he dealt with the mind and the spirit. That's a powerful story. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You got the hook up. All right. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. I want to say that it's a pleasure to be here.
Yes.
My question is, what are some strategies that you have for people in helping them to clarify their dreams?
I'm glad you asked that question, because we do have a training, because I did not know I could do what I'm doing now. And there's a process, Dr. Julie Van Putten, and I'll give you an example about why this theme is so powerful, what they have. How people live their lives is a result of the story they believe about themselves. Dr. Julie Van Putten went to school in Detroit. Now she was told when she was 12 years old, she said she wanted to be a doctor. Teacher said, you can't do that. You're not good in math and science and all of that. She believed that. Now, fast forward 20 years later, and then something happened. Tell them what happened. Stand up right quick. Show about the power of story.
Yes, something happened. I decided, they said you could be anything you wanted to be. Let me back up. Someone said I couldn't do that because I just didn't have the math skills. So they said, maybe you should be an educator. And I said, that's a good idea. So when I finished college, I decided to do public health, and I became a public health educator. I got a master's in that. And I remember they said to me also, well, you're also really good with people. Maybe you should think about being a counselor. And so when I was finishing my master's in public health, at the same time, I did a degree in marriage and family therapy. But I always wanted to be a physician, and I knew that that was my passion. I knew that was my destiny. And while I was working, I met someone who said, Julie, you can be anything you want to be. Why don't you think you can do this? And 20 years later, fast forward, I applied for scholarships. I went to school. I got accepted in a medical scientist program. That's an MD PhD program. I got my way fully paid for. And I started at the age of 32, and I did an MD PhD program at the Ohio State University, your favorite school. And I'm currently a medical director of a large health agency now.
That person who said, you can be anything you want to be, 20 years later, distracted, disputed, because he said, look what you've done thus far, and inspired her to go to the next level and start a new chapter in her lives. Now, the question is, what lie are you living? How many of you have ever been told you couldn't do something? Raise your hands, please. You see? And so faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing. How many of you have been told more than once? Raise your hands, please. See? MIT did that study. Remember I told you one negative comment is 16 times more powerful than a positive comment? Yes. And that's why we have to program our minds, develop mentorships and strategic relationships with people that we can learn from and grow from. And I would love to help you to do that. That's our mission, is to help you to find your purpose. But your purpose is to produce, to help you get in alignment with your achievement agenda. Okay?
Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes.
Hey.
You're welcome. Make sure you see Dr. Julie Van Putten before we leave, okay? Yes.
Hi, I immensely enjoyed you today. My name is Patricia Merida, and what stood out with me is the passion and the adoration you have for your mother. And that told me something about what kind of woman she was. And that stood out on me in my pursuit of what God has given me to do. I have a great burden for women, as far as wholeness of women, because of the things and the situations that women go through and the fragmented pieces and seem like they can't bring it together. So I see me there telling them you can do it and you can make it. So I just want to say what one thing that I can do. I'm doing my journey. I'm seeking avenues and different resources, you know, my time with the God so that he may lead and direct me to what he has called me to do. So I just want to say to you, Les, what one thing I can do from this day, because I'm changed by what you told me in the Word of God.
Here's what you can do.
One thing I can
This woman right here, you need to meet her because she's one of our coaches and trainers, and she can help you overcome whatever challenge you're facing. But let us say together, connections.
Connections.
Let me tell you, connection. How many know connections are very important? They're very important. You want to be connected with people that can help you get to the next level, that can give you access. That's the name of the game right now. And this is a strategic alignment, so this is someone you know. Mr. Washington was a major connection for me. He helped me to develop and to find my voice. Mike Williams was a major connection for me because he gave me a larger vision of myself beyond being LB, Triple P, Les Brown, your platter playing papa. There were none before me, there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only. He's dead. Bam, bam, bam. Sometimes he want to come back to life after shoot him again. Bam! And so that I could be a different person, yes.
I think a huge thing as an international student is definitely, right now it's a turbulent time and kind of finding jobs and all of that, it's a little crazy. So I wanted to know, how did you overcome your fear for the unknown future and the instability in what's to come?
The way to overcome, repeat after me, please say focus.
Focus.
Yes, fear is something that we're the authors of. And you can be a thermometer, react to everything that's going on, or you can be a thermostat, living your life from the inside out rather than from the outside in. Focus on what it is you want to do and find other people that are doing that and where you want to focus your energy and how you want to gain access. Because here's the thing about it. If you're willing to put in the work, you're willing to, see, nobody's going to outwork me. I don't care how many credentials you have. I don't care how much experience you have. I'm going to work. And people say work smart, not hard. There's nothing wrong with working hard. I do both. I work smart and I work hard. Because if you want to be at top, and I always believe, always strive to get on top in life because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. I don't want to be just one of the players. I want to be a dominant voice in this industry. So I study everything that I can. As you look at your area right now, you want to find who are some of the people you need to align yourself with, and what is it that's going to make you stand out, that people want to see you as a go-to person. There are many speakers, they're struggling right now. I get over 3,000 requests a year because impact drives income. Where could you make the greatest impact right now? What is it about you that people, as a result of your reputation for holding yourself to a higher standard and provide more service than you get paid for, that will cause people to seek you out? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what's one piece of advice you would give to someone who's 21 and coming out of college?
Say it again?
What's one piece of key advice you would give to a freshman?
What is your area? What did you major in?
Business.
Business?
Yep.
What area of business do you want to go in? What's the piece that has your name on it?
Sorry?
What is the piece that you know you can do that and that you are exceptional on?
I'm a people person, and people usually come to me for advice, so that's why I wanted to go to consulting.
Yes, okay, and you can go around seeking a job, or you can have a two-pronged approach. One is seeking a job. Two, looking at what are the opportunities. See, a lot of people say that opportunity knocks on every door. I don't believe that it knocks on every door. I believe that opportunity stands by silently waiting for you to recognize it, okay? So, let's look at yourself, for instance. They're laying off thousands of people, right? Yeah. Some employees are making funds available for transition, what we're just talking about. That's got your name on it. Because you can now get all type of instruments, have people to take instruments to determine what is their strength and help them to put together a plan for their life. What's their life plan? Not just their business plan, what's their life plan? What do you want to do now? With the skills, with the experience, how do you, let us say together, knowledge
Knowledge
is a new currency.
is a new currency.
Yeah, see, knowledge is a new currency. Because let's say a place has 10,000 employees. If 5,000 people laid off, those 5,000 jobs don't go away. Those 5,000 people that are retained, that work will be spread among them. So they need the mindset and the skill set in order to make things happen. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So some of that money's got your name on it.
All right.
It's about creating the opportunities for yourself. Don't wait for it. Don't go out spending a lot of time just looking for a job, the journey of the broke. Anybody else? Yes.
It's an honor to be in your presence today, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I was supposed to be in Chicago today, but when I found out you were going to be here, I had to sacrifice that trip.
Wow. Please give him one of my videos, please. Thank you very much. Thank you, my brother. That filled the fire. You know, you did the right thing. All right. Yes,
I want to share with you why, though. I'm here to offer my gratitude because when I grew up, we were told in my elementary school class that like we were learning disabled, and when I graduated from high school, I was told that I wasn't college material. So when I left from high school, I moved to California, went and got a job and stuff, and I saw you on a videotape one day, and you said in that video that the best revenge is massive success.
Yes.
And I made that my motto, and after that, not only did I go back to college, take care of my dying mother, and work full-time while I was in college, I transferred to an institution that they said I could never be successful in. I graduated from U of M. I went on 3 study abroad trips for free, and this is just the beginning. And you're not the only teacher that I've had, but you woke up something inside of me that means so much to me, and I'm just here to say thank you. You know, to see you in person is just blowing my mind because before you were kind of like a spirit, you know, and you know, because I mean you were on TV, you know, but I mean everything that you know you talked about, like, you know, being on the radio show and stuff like that, it empowered me to like move beyond my fear, which is always there. It's like sweeping the front porch every day. You got to get rid of it every day because you're socialized into it. But I feel like there's nothing that I can't do, and I just wanted to say thank you.
Well,
for
I want to meet you. We got to take a picture together. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.